Hey team, welcome to another Building Better Baseball timeout. And in today's timeout, we're talking about unwritten rules. These are going to be all the rules that aren't officially in the baseball rulebook, but all coaches and players abide by them, and if they're broken, there might be a problem. If we've never met before, then welcome to the team. I'm Coach Hart, and in these timeouts, I teach you the rules of baseball and I teach you how to play the game. So let's get into the unwritten rules of baseball. So the first slide, I'm just going to explain what I'm talking about when I talk about unwritten rules. So the game of baseball, as I said before, has rules that aren't official rules, but all baseball players and coaches abide by them. Most have to do with behavior and respecting your opponent. So when you're playing the game, it's always important to respect your opponent, respect the team that you're playing, no matter how the game is going. And all of these unwritten rules have a lot to do with how you behave on the field and if you're respecting your opponent or not. If these rules are broken, you're going to hear a lot of players and coaches call it Bush League because you broke the unwritten rules of baseball. So whenever you hear Bush League, that's what they're talking about. The first slide is about don't run up the score. So a lot of these rules have to do with not running up the score on your opponent. The first one, no stealing bases with a large lead. So when you have a large lead, you want to just take it base by base, and you don't want to try to do anything extra to try to score more runs. And stealing bases, usually when you're stealing bases, you're trying to score more runs rapidly and get extra runs. And if you're already up by 15 runs, then you shouldn't be stealing bases. That's just Bush League. No bunting with a large lead. So this kind of has to do with the same thing as stealing, where you don't want to try to do extra things to score more runs if you're already up by 12 or 15 runs. If you're already up by a large margin, there's no bunting. Bunting is usually a small ball game where you're trying to score extra runs. So whenever you're up by a large margin, just get in the box and try to hit the ball. No advancing, especially to home, on pass balls. So whenever the pitcher throws the ball and it gets past the catcher, usually that's a great time for base runners to advance to the next base. And if they're on third, they advance home and they try to score. But like I said before, if you're already up by a whole bunch of runs, you don't want to advance on any pass ball because that's Bush League and that's not really respecting your opponent. Some say no swinging on a 3-out count. Now, I don't really agree with this. There's some of these rules that are popular that I don't really agree with. This is going to be one of them. Swinging on a 3-0 count, a lot of coaches and players say not to swing on a 3-0 count. I believe that if you get a good pitch and if you get your pitch, you don't know when that's going to come again. So you need to hit that ball, no matter what the count is. So if you agree with this, then this is an unwritten rule, but I always tell my players, swing if it's your pitch. And all of these rules have to do with basically playing minimally with a large lead. So whenever you're up by 10, 15 runs, you just want to take it base by base and not try and do anything extra to try and score more runs because you're already up by a large margin and you're most likely going to win the game. So with all of these rules not running up the score, play minimally with a large lead. The next thing we're going to talk about is baseball offensive etiquette. So there's some etiquette and some things that offensive players should do that aren't written in the rule book, but they're unwritten rules. The first one is, as a base runner, don't yell at the defense, "I got it," on a fly ball. So whenever you're running around the bases and there's a fly ball, let's say to the shortstop, and you're running past the shortstop, you don't want to try and distract them from trying to catch the ball. That's just Bush League. That's not respectful, and that's not respecting the game. Whenever there's a fly ball and you're running past the defense, just take the next base and do your job and run to the next base. Don't try and distract the defense from trying to catch a fly ball. And in the major leagues, these players get a lot of backlash. Alex Rodriguez, when he did that, he got a lot of backlash for it. And everybody really did not like that he did that because it's just Bush League. It's not respectful. And you're not respecting the game when you do that. The batters should not stand on the home plate area dirt while pitcher is warming up. So in this first picture right here with the pitcher warming up, the batters should not be anywhere near the batter's box or anywhere in the dirt. They should be near their dugout, getting their warm-up swings, because it's just bad etiquette if you're up by the batter's box and trying to time the pitcher while he's warming up. Nobody does that. That's an unwritten rule. Stay by your dugout until the inning starts. You don't want to walk in front of the umpire or the catcher to the batter's box. Now, this is not so much in youth baseball because a lot of youth players do this, but especially in the MLB, I see a lot of MLB players do this etiquette where they walk around the umpire or the catcher. So in this first picture, let's say you're on the first base dugout and you're a right-handed batter. You need to get over here to the right-handed batter's box. You're going to walk around and behind the catcher to get to that batter's box, not across home plate. So that's just a little offensive etiquette that they do a lot in the MLB. I don't see it a lot in youth baseball because I don't think a lot of people know about it, but especially in the MLB, that's what they do. Don't admire a home run with a large lead, right? So if you hit a home run and you're already up by 12 runs, just run around the bases, take your home run, be happy about it, be proud of yourself, but don't bat flip, don't gloat, don't do all these things that make you look bad. That's just bad etiquette because you're already up by 13, 15 runs, right? That's not respecting your opponent. That's not respecting the defense or the pitcher. Just take your home run, run around the bases, be proud of yourself, and just move on. And don't talk to the pitcher while throwing a no-hitter. So if the pitcher is having a really good game and he hasn't given up a hit or he's just in the zone, as an offensive player, you don't want to talk to him. You don't want to mess him up. You don't want to take him out of his mojo. And trust me, if you do that and he gives up a hit the next inning, that whole entire team, that whole entire defense is going to blame you for getting him out of the zone or messing up his mojo or whatever. So if the pitcher's having a really good game, just don't talk to them. Baseball defensive etiquette. So just like offense, there's also defensive etiquette that we need to abide by. The first one, don't step on the white foul line on the way out to the field. So the white foul line is like this. It's all chalk, right? And if you step on it, the chalk will go everywhere and it'll skew the line for the umpire. And that's the foul line, right? So if there's a bunt down the third or the first baseline and it's on the white chalk, if it's a little skewed, the umpire might make the wrong call, right? So you want to step over the line. You want to keep the line fresh and true whenever you're going in and out of the field. So just make sure you step over the line. You don't step on the line when you're going in and out of the field. The next one, when going back into the dugout, don't cross over the mound. Go around the mound. So anytime you're moving in and out of the field, you always want to walk around the mound. You don't want to walk over the mound. So the mound is like basically a pitcher's sanctuary, right? And it's looked at as disrespectful. Let's say you're the left fielder and you're running back into the first base dugout and you walk over the mound while the other pitcher is coming out to pitch. That's just looked at as disrespectful. You want to walk around the mound whenever you're walking in and out of the field just to respect the pitcher and just to respect the game itself. The next one, baseball priorities are always in full effect. So baseball priorities, center field gets all the outfield balls if they can get it, and shortstop gets all the infield balls if they can get it. Center field has priority, shortstop has priority over the outfield and the infield, right? That's more of like a within team thing where the center fielder and the shortstop, they have priority over everyone. And if they can get the ball, then they can get the ball. So baseball priorities are always in full effect on the defense. Now, you never want to disrespect the umpire. The umpires are there calling your game, and if they weren't there, you wouldn't be playing, right? There's a way, if you disagree with the umpire's call, there is a way to go about telling the umpire that you disagree without disrespecting them. If they make a bad call or they make a call that you don't agree with, you can say, hey, umpire, I just want to know, what did you see on that call? That is a way of saying, I don't really agree with you, but I'm not going to disrespect you. If you throw your glove and you yell at him and you do all these things, that's just disrespectful, and that will not do any good for you or your team. And the last slide is play the game properly. This is kind of like a summary of everything, right? Play the game properly. You want to respect yourself. You want to respect your team, respect the umpires, respect your opponent. And if you do all of these things, all of these 4 things, you will be respecting the game. And the more people that respect the game, the more people will have fun. And the more people who have fun, the more this game will grow because they understand that baseball is fun because everybody is respecting yourself, your team, the umpires, the opponent, and overall respecting the game. So the more people respect the game, the more people have fun. The more people have fun, the more people will want to play, and the more the game will grow. Thanks for taking the time out with Building Better Baseball. I hope you enjoyed this unwritten rules of baseball. And if you ever need any help with improving your game, if you're a player or a coach, just visit my website, buildingbetterbaseball.com. I have free guides, I have practice plans and equipment guides and everything like that you can download for free. And also, if you want to take it even further, I have some paid online training courses that teaches you how to play the game of baseball, teaches you how to pitch and hit and field and everything like that. So visit my website, buildingbetterbaseball.com, if you ever want to take your game to the next level. Thanks for joining in today, and I'll see you in the next time out.